Hello and welcome back to art. Today's lesson features African American masks. Mask making has been a tradition in Africa for thousands of years, and it has influenced Western art and art around the world. Today we will look at some African masks and their purpose, and we will learn 3 different techniques of creating our own mask. I hope you enjoy this art activity.
Masks are a common feature of the traditional culture of the people from Africa. The meaning and purpose of these masks vary widely. Mask dances are often part of most traditional African ceremonies related to weddings and funerals and other special events. Mask making is an art that is passed on from father to son, along with the knowledge of the meanings of the mask. African masks come in all different colors, such as red, black, orange, and brown. The most commonly used material for masks is wood, although a wide variety of other elements can be used, including light stone, metals, different types of fabric, and pottery. Some masks are painted. A wide array of ornamental items can be applied to the mask, like animal hair, horns, teeth, seashells, seeds, straw, eggshells, and feathers. Like you see in this picture, animal hair or straw are often used for the mask's hair or beard. Most masks are worn over the wearer's face. Others, like the ones here, are worn like hats on top of the wearer's heads. Some masks are made from hollowed out tree stumps and are worn like helmets, covering both the head and face.
Today we're going to explore 3 different techniques to make an African-inspired mask. So we will look at a process to make a mask with paint, a process to make a mask with markers, and a process to make a mask collage with different colored construction paper. So depending on what mask style you choose, you will need to choose your materials. You could use paints, markers, crayons, oil pastels, construction paper. You may need scissors and glue. And you could also include other objects such as yarn or string or beans, or maybe some other objects around the house. Prior to making your masks, take a minute to investigate some of the shapes applied in these 12 drawings of masks. What each of these masks has in common is that they are all symmetrical, meaning the shape on the left side of the mask is the same as the shapes on the right side of the mask. For example, if you were to fold each one of these masks in half vertically in the middle, the shapes would line up with one another. Symmetry is very commonly found in African masks. Take a look at the shapes and patterns included in these 12 drawings and potentially add some of those into your work when you create your mask. We're going to now look at the 3 different styles of mask making and choose one that you enjoy. In this example, the artist starts out by drawing and cutting out the head shape for the mask. Next, the artist applies a series of shapes and lines that she has seen in many other mask designs. Then she goes and paints over those lines that she drew. If you're not using paints, you could do this with a crayon or a marker. The artist is now applying a technique called pointillism. That is the process of painting or drawing with a series of dots. You'll notice that the artist is applying the paint with a Q-tip. You could do this with a Q-tip or the back of a pencil. In this next example, we see how the artist draws out a mask, applying a variety of shapes that she's seen in other masks. Notice how the artwork is symmetrical. She started by folding the paper, and then when she applied a shape on the left side of the fold, she copied the same shape on the right side of the fold, and she has what's referred to as a mirror image. So both sides, the left and the right, are the same. Notice how she uses bright, bold colors to color her shapes. She puts a lot of detail and repeats patterns and shapes and dots. The result is a bright, bold, colorful mask. I like how she repeats the dots and the stripes in her picture. In a way, this reminds me of the work we learned about Henri Matisse, the king of color, with bright, bold colors. Next, we're going to look at a mask collage. So you can make this style of mask if you have a bunch of colored construction paper at home. The first thing she does is she draws the head shape and cuts it out. In this example, the artist uses a series of templates that she pre-prepared with construction paper. You can skip this step. It's not really necessary. What she did was draw a bunch of face shapes such as eyes, nose, and mouth, and she made templates and then later traced those stencils to cut out her colored shapes. Again, you do not have to do this process. You could just go ahead and draw your shapes directly on the colored construction paper and then cut them out. Again, creating the template or stencils is not a necessary step in this process. To create a stencil would be important if you wanted to make several masks using the same exact shapes. So if you're going to do this style of mask, the collage style, you would want to use scissors and glue and a variety of colored construction paper. Notice how the shapes she includes in her mask are similar to the shapes we saw in the mask handout that included 12 different mask images. After this lesson, you could go back to that section in the video that has the handout with the 12 different mask designs. You could pick and choose a variety of shapes from the different masks to create one unique mask of your own. Do you notice what the artist is putting on the mask now? Those are beans. Yes, those are dry beans that one might use to make soup, or let's say red beans and rice or some other delicious food item. So if you have dry beans in your pantry at home, possibly you could apply some of those to your mask today. What other items might you include in your mask? Think about some of the things you have at home that really are considered junk. Maybe you have some bottle caps or some other plastic lid shapes that you could include in your mask. If those things were going to go in the garbage anyway, you might include them to make a mixed media design today. Potentially, you could include a few pennies in your mask. That might look interesting. Think about the various round and other shapes that you have around the house that you might include. The artist is trimming the final section of the mask and now has a complete mixed media collage mask. Rather than go back through the video, I have included the African masks handout here for your convenience. Consult these shapes and potentially include some of them on your African-inspired mask. I hope you enjoy this art making activity.